Hello again, how's it going, guys? I thought we'd start off today with a look at the tomatoes. I put the tomato plants out just over 3 weeks ago and it was a lovely sunny day, and wouldn't you just know it, as soon as I did put them out, I think it was followed by 5 or 6 straight days of rain, but that's okay. I think I've got about 45 plants in all, maybe about 12 different varieties. I can't name them all off the top of my head, but some of the varieties that I'm growing for the first time are San Marzano, which come highly recommended from both the gardening and the cooking communities. And another type I'm growing for the first time is this type here. It's called Britain's Breakfast, and this was gifted to me by Digwell Greenfingers. A couple of days ago I gave everything a feed. It would be the second time that I've fed the plants, and I gave them a liquid feed with an NPK of 10, 5, 15. These are the tomatoes that I grew from those little capsules, and they have the potential to be the most expensive tomato I've ever grown. It cost me $5 for 8 of the capsules, and only 4 of them germinated, so that works out to about $1.25 per seed. However, I can't grumble. I got 4 really strong plants, and hopefully they're going to give me a really good return. And these little babies are called solanums, and I know very little about them. I'm growing them for the first time this year, and they are apparently a type of annual berry that are very, very sweet. I have one called garden huckleberry and the other is called golden pearls. Now, like I say, I know very little about them other than you have to wait until the fruit is fully mature before you eat it, otherwise you're going to get a very bad bellyache. So in other words, it's a little bit like rhubarb. I'll keep you updated on these as the season goes on. In this part of the world, June is most certainly the month for foxgloves, and we grow a few different types of foxgloves. This one is probably the most prolific that we grow, and these ones have just stuck themselves right here in the gravel. Now, there's hardly any soil whatsoever, but they seem to be very happy here. This is an idea that I got from Krista's garden, and she took a old tomato hoop, turned it upside down and held it in place with a couple of sticks, and it makes for a pretty nice looking teepee. And in this container we're growing a watermelon called Sugar Baby. This is elephant garlic, which I've grown from bulbils, and it was sent to me a couple of years ago from Woody. Now, for the first time we have some scapes on it, so I'm hoping that means that the bulb has formed and we're going to have some elephant garlic this year. Now, if the bulb hasn't formed and we just have a round, then I'll have to grow it on for another year. But just the fact that we have these scapes on it is pretty encouraging. This is the sunflower that I'm going to try and grow up this drain pipe. It's a type called Pike's Peak, and I'm hoping it's going to become the tallest sunflower grown in a container. It's not looking very big right now, but I guess we've got to give it some time. The sunflower in this container is a type called Kong, and Kong sunflowers grow very tall and grow very large heads. So I'm hoping that this one's going to help me out in 2 categories of the sunflower challenge. This is the area where I'm growing an arrangement of sunflowers. I've broadcast some wildflower seed in the area, which is coming through, and I'm hoping that the sunflowers are going to grow up through the wildflowers, and then come August I'm hoping it's going to make for a nice display. These are 3 sunflowers that I'm keeping in case of emergency. I've got a Kong, I've got a Pike's Peak, And I've also got a mammoth, and this mammoth is probably the biggest sunflower that I've grown so far this year. I put this trellis together, and then I want to try and grow some winter squash on here. It's something I did a few years ago with reasonable success, and I think I've got 3 different types of winter squash that I want to try. I got 4 plants here, 2 butternut squashes that I grew from seed, and then a type called Cornell's Bush Delicata, which I got from the nursery for a couple of dollars, and another one that I got from the nursery. This one's called Table Ace. Now, the thing to remember is which way the sunlight's coming from. It's coming from that direction. South is over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant these ones pretty close to the trellis on the right, because they're going to want to grow that way, and that way I can train them up like that. And this one over here, exactly the same. This one's going to want to travel this way, but again, hopefully I can train it up the trellis here. And then finally, these 2 butternut squashes can go over here somewhere, and again they're going to want to grow this way. So by placing them here, I'm going to help myself out a little bit. It's always handy to look and know where it is that the sun's going to come in from. So there we go, 4 squashes that we're going to grow up a trellis. I may get adventurous and put a 5th one in there if I can find one in the greenhouse. Oh man, a big chunk fell off of my tomato in a bottle. And now I'm going to have like the lamest tomato in a bottle in the whole challenge. That sucks. This is another tomato that we've got growing in a bottle, and this one's growing in the goblet type bottle. It's I believe it's a cherry type tomato, and I think we're going to have some success with this one. Whenever I grow any hardy perennials or biennial flowers from seed, I never put any pressure on them to bloom in their first year. I think it's a little bit too much to ask, and you may end up being disappointed. So what I'll do is I'll start them off in May or June in these small cells. I'll then pot them along into some bigger pots, and we'll let them grow on all summer long. These are black hollyhocks, and the root system looks okay, so I'm going to pop them into these 4-inch pots, and if I get the chance I'm going to try and get them into the ground in the late autumn. But if I don't get the chance, that's okay. They'll live in these pots quite fine over winter, and then we'll get them into the ground in the early spring. Alright, so that's got 18 plants potted along. I'm going to mollycoddle these over the next couple of months, and I can guarantee you that these will bloom next year. Now I've also got a whole bunch left over, so what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to throw them out into the beds right now. I'm not going to look after them, and they can take their chances. If they survive, they survive, and if they don't, that doesn't matter. I do have these ones, and these ones are guaranteed. Well, that's about it, and right now I think it's time for a beer. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section below, and if you haven't subscribed, ding the bell. Until next time, cheers.